On today's show, it's a game day preview. Everything you need to know ahead of tonight's matchup between the Sens and the Philadelphia Flyers.
Ottawa keeps the same lines as last game, and Leevi Merilainen has been called up from Belleville.
This is Yakimchuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Today is Thursday, October 23rd, and Pillsy, a prayer circle to start today's show. We need to finish this homestand on a positive note.
Yeah, I mean, among other things, we need to have a prayer circle for. But yes, this is a Philadelphia Flyers team that you've had success in the past, 2-0-1, their last 3 games last season. Let's get a solid win here. I'm not talking about a miraculous comeback. I'm not talking about squeaking out a shootout win. And I'm certainly not content or fine with an overtime loss. Let's get a puck line regulation win. I mean, puck line goes without saying regulation, but still, I want regulation win and I want more than 2-goal lead. Let's go.
Let's just get a lead to start the game. Sens have allowed the first goal in 6 out of 7 games. That is not a recipe for success. So please score first and play well with the lead. The Flyers are coming off 2 straight wins. They're finishing up a 4-game homestand. This is their lone game on the road, and then they're right back home for 5 more games. They played 9 out of 10 games at home. This tonight is the one on the road. Make it uncomfortable for them, and that helps with an early lead. Take advantage of the power play. I just had flashbacks to 2 home openers ago where Chychrun was banging away on the power play, and Ottawa beat Philly 5-2 in that game. But Ottawa needs to jump out to an early lead. They did that in one of their last meetings last year. Remember, Brady scored in the first minute in Philadelphia. So please, for the love of everything that's good, score first and play well with the lead tonight. That's the message if I'm Travis Green to the team. And we'll get into some of the decisions that Travis Green has made, but I don't think you can't oversimplify what needs to be done tonight in terms of starting on time and carrying that momentum at least through the first intermission before you give up a barrage in your own zone.
Yeah, and the Philadelphia Flyers are a team that plays pretty tight defensively, and they've only allowed 16 goals in 6 games, 2.67 goals against per game. So for the Ottawa Senators that have been used to, at least this year so far, run and gun type games, back and forth, scoring a lot of goals on both sides of the ice, I think this is going to be a lot tighter of a matchup, and you're going to have to take advantage of the few opportunities you get when you get them. Maybe this is jinxing it, but I see this as a game to look at the under, and we'll get to that later on.
Oh, really? You're teasing the under? Wow. Fire everybody up.
Hey, I would love to see an under hit for the Ottawa Senators because it hasn't happened a lot this year, and most of the time they're on the wrong side of goals going in the net.
Yeah, that's fair. And when you're looking at the matchup here, the goaltending could be make or break both sides. You mentioned that they're getting great goaltending from Dan Vladar, and that's great. Good for him. He's not a career elite goaltender. Maybe he can become one. He's still young. But in Calgary, he wasn't a guy where when he was starting, oh boy, we got to watch out for Dan Vladar. Sam Ersson was pretty good last year, actually. But he's having a tough start to this season. He's got a below 850 save percentage.
Give us Harrison.
Get Ersson Ullmark. Get Team Sweden's management. I know Alfie's advising for Team Sweden at the Olympics. They might leave and say, hey, Jacob Markstrom, can that injury heal a little quicker? We need
Gustafson. Don't forget about Philly franchise.
Of course, Philly franchise is having a great start to the year as well. Saw some great saves he was making the other night. But no, jokes aside, it's not about what the Philadelphia Flyers are doing tonight. The Ottawa Senators. We saw Ottawa Senators hockey, quote unquote, Thomas Chabot, in at least the third period of last game against Edmonton. So
for a minute 35 of the third period. Let's keep in mind they only had 4 shots in 20 minutes. Now 2 of them went in, 50% success rate. I'm down for that, but let's not praise that period too much.
there's also a silver bullet that the Ottawa Senators have head-to-head against the Flyers. And that's Claude Giroux putting money on the board. He's had a ton of success against his former team.
If
So
only
he
this was
needs
a
to
matinee
continue.
game, Ross, then it would be, I mean, we'd be emptying the account on Giroux profits.
Yeah, FanDuel, the servers might go down if I was going up Sens, Flyers, and Claude Giroux was playing at 1
FanDuel's
p.m.
not ready for your Claude Giroux bets against the Flyers on matinees.
No, they're not. But he has had a successful career head-to-head, and Pillsy has the numbers for you later on in the show. But the big story yesterday on LOSP was Jordan Spence. And no changes are expected. Jordan Spence remains out of the lineup. Matt Palo remains in, and Linus Ullmark starts. I know you wanted Spence in, but like you didn't really think he was going to make the change after one game, did you?
Now, if the Sens had won that game, I'd be like, absolutely not. Travis Green is one of those stubborn coaches that is like, why would I change a winning lineup?
I'm pretty sure Travis Green thinks they won 2-2 in regulation.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. No, after I kind of had my rant and then you rebutted with, that's great, Pillsy, I agree with you, but it's just not going to happen. I kind of was like, yeah, that's fair point. I mean, Travis Green's not going to switch that up. And
it's not fun being dragged down from the clouds, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. Usually we had a role reversal there. So, hey, I appreciate it. I got to be humbled once in a while when I start dreaming, thinking that a player that's tied for the lead in assists on a team should play for the team. So, yeah, maybe I'm crazy on that one. Crazy.
You're crazy, man. And if you see on the ticker at the bottom, yeah, there's a few areas that Jordan Spence is among the league team leaders, I should say, not league leaders. No. We're not just we're a goals team here in Shane Pinto being still. Is he still tied?
Still tied, yes,
yeah,
sir.
Nobody last night. 3-way tie, right, between him, Mark Scheifele, and Pavel Dorofiev. Yes, all three with 7 goals. Scheifele with the lead. He's sitting there at number 1 because he's played one less game than both Shane Pinto and Dorofiev. It's a tie, a long tie, 4-way tie for 3rd place, 4th place. McKinnon, Eichel, Jack Hughes, Seth Jarvis. So Shane Pinto remains in elite company, and he's playing with Claude Giroux tonight. So if you want to get a little double dip there, how about a Shane Pinto goal, a Claude Giroux assist anytime? I like the sound of that for the Senators. It's a 7:00 start tonight. It's a Thursday game, meaning it's a TSN broadcast. So act accordingly, get the streaming services all sorted out. And we will see Paul McLean again at intermission. What do you think of McLean's debut on the panel?
Well, ironically, Ross, I was blacked out from the TSN broadcast, so I was watching on Sportsnet, not because of preference or choice, because that was my only option. So I cannot comment on how former Jack Adams winner Paul McLean was on the broadcast, because like seemingly every single TSN 5 game that the Sens are on is blacked out for me.
That's ridiculous. How does that work then? How do you get it on Sportsnet?
Well, Sportsnet was broadcasting that game.
No, they weren't. On Tuesday?
I was literally watching it on Sportsnet.
You were watching the Oilers broadcast.
Yeah, yes.
There you go. So it's the regional Sportsnet. Because I was like, no, the Sportsnet national games are Wednesday. Okay, that makes a ton of sense because the Oilers are a Sportsnet property. Just look at the name of their arena. Okay, Pillsy, let's get to lineups. Let's get to the other story we haven't even alluded to since the intro. Leevi Merilainen called up. The ring around the rosy continues between Matt Sogard and Leevi Merilainen. Merilainen did get into a couple games, including last night, where the Belleville Senators got their first win. And you're going to want to hear who's tied for the league lead in assists in the AHL. And Carter Yakimchuk had a couple helpers of his own. Those conversations are later on. You're listening to a game day edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL, NHL season are here, and the World Series is coming up tomorrow. Jays, Dodgers, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for every kickoff, puck drop, and first pitch with a can't-miss offer. For new customers, you can bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you're going to get yourself $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel. Ross loves using FanDuel, and you should too. Fits however you want to bet. player props, same game parlays, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. Tonight's game, Sens Flyers. Sens are favorites. The money line, -166. Over under set at 5.5. Like I teased earlier, maybe this is an under game. 5.5 is +108. And if you want to hit some prop bets, we're talking about Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux point is +102. So plus money for Claude Giroux to get a point in this game where he's been above a point per game player so far up against his old team. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Rougiette. Let's be real, making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard it before. It's just stress. I'm tired. And it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support. And that's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rougiette makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor, and it's 100% online, so no awkward waiting rooms or no in-person appointments. If prescribed, your treatment ships directly straight to your door. It's fast, simple, and private, all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rougiette.com/LockedOnNHL to get 15% off your order. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL. Don't forget to use our promo code LockedOnNHL so they know that we sent you. Rougiette. Stop making excuses and start making moves. All right, Billsy, so it is an Ottawa Senators game day tonight, 7 o'clock, and make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Senators on YouTube. We do have the postcast set for you after tonight's game. Let's hope it's another one with 2 points, which the Senators have been able to do with Claude Giroux since coming over. We talked about the success he's had individually, while the team has as well. Ottawa is 6-2-1 against the Flyers since their captain came to Ottawa. Sens have a couple old Flyers captains. Dave Poulin, senior advisor, hockey operations, senior manager of hockey operations. And he was a legend back in the day. Always gets overlooked, these guys that get into broadcasting for so long. But Pooley was a heck of a player for the younger Sens fans out there. All right, Pilsy. Tonight's game, it's all about the Ottawa Senators, though. We have made that very clear. What the Flyers do is borderline irrelevant. But what will the Ottawa Senators, top dogs, bring to the lineup tonight? It is going to be the same lines that played the game on Tuesday. That means Dylan Cousins is centering Tim Stützle and Drake Batherson. Shane Pinto between Michael Amadio and Claude Giroux. Ridley Gregg, third line center between Nick Cousins and David Perron, the GCP line where the vibes are free. And Lars Eller between Ole Lycksell and Fabian Zetterlund. On the back end, Jake Sanderson with Artem Zub, Thomas Chabot with Nick Jensen, and Tyler Klevin with Nicholas Matin-Palo. Linus Ullmark starts in goal. Pilsy, your locked on player to watch.
All right, well, we've talked about him a bunch already, but we can get it more into my locked-on player, number 28, Claude Giroux. I got his jersey hanging up behind me, the beautiful new red alternates. He's going up against his former team in the Philadelphia Flyers, and in 9 games, he's got 11 points. And this season, overall, in 7 games, 1 goal, 3 assists, +1. But where I want to highlight and give Claude Giroux his flowers, where if we gave him flowers for this all the time, he could run a floral shop if he wanted, because he continues to dominate in the faceoff dot. He went a perfect 6 for 6 last game up against Edmonton. And on the season, he's at 68.6% success rate, winning 35 faceoffs and only losing 16. So you want to talk about snapping back draws, giving your team possession. This guy's the man, and he continues to do it. So I'm going to be expecting a nice game from Claude Giroux. Like I mentioned before, Claude Giroux +1 point on FanDuel is +102 plus money. And look, he's getting more than a point per game up against his old team. So that I hate to steal your catchphrase here, Ross, but that could be a Leevi lock.
That is a Leevi lock, and I will be riding it myself. Hey, sometimes the student surpasses the teacher. If you look at total face-off percentage in the National Hockey League this season, minimum of 40 draws taken. You can make it 50 if you'd like. Tim Stützle is still number one at 74%. Claude Giroux in second at 68.6. So love that call, Pillsy, getting him as your locked on player. I've been on the train that if this team is going to stay afloat while Brady Tkachuk is out, the top line needs to produce as such. They combined for a power play goal last game, but I need them at even strength tonight. And Drake Batherson is going to have to be a big part of that. He's a point per game player, but still has a goose egg in the goal column. Tonight would be a great night for Batherson to get his first and maybe even second goals of the season. I really like the way that he complements the play styles of Cousins and Stützle. And if Timmy keeps this shooter's mentality that we've seen so far this season, they're bound to go in eventually. But we also know Timmy loves to pass, and that's where I'm banking on Batherson putting one in the back of the net tonight. How about a nice little quick passing play? We haven't seen enough of that this year, and we know Batherson has that in his bag of tricks. Drake Batherson will be my locked-on player to watch.
Yeah, and I'd like to see those shots on goal creep up a little more too, Ross. Playing on that top line, on that top power play, only 6 shots on goal in 4 games. We can improve that.
Yeah, it's something to work on there for Drake. I feel like he's had a pretty good success rate against Philly in his career. He doesn't. So let's match his career totals against Philly tonight. He has a goal and 2 assists in 12 career games against the Flyers.
Batherson 3-point night.
Ooh, Batherson 3-point night. Yes, I could ride with that. Why not? The Senators, their Achilles heel is the penalty kill. And I feel like a lot of people want to drive off the road when they hear us bring it up, because I know it's a storyline. It needs to be fixed, but there's only so many things you can say about the way that they haven't been defending the lower hash marks. They haven't been allowing their goaltender to see shots. There's been a few screens in front. The rebounds are getting to them in the crease. It feels like this penalty kill really doesn't have any redeeming quality. Last season, it was that they could provide some offense. They almost did in overtime. They had 2 rush chances where they didn't even get a shot on goal. So the penalty kill, yeah, it's a storyline, and it has to be a key to victory tonight is staying out of the box, because I don't trust the PK. So the way to get around that is don't take penalties. The Flyers historically are a team that gets in your face and roughs things up. They have a few guys that could do that, but their identity has really changed when you add in Trevor Zegras, add in Matvei Michkov. Like, they're kind of skewing towards being a more skilled team. And then you remember their head coach is Rick Tocchet. So he's going to at least be preaching that they play hard, play physical. And Ottawa's got to make sure that they get up to that line, but they don't cross it. And the GCP line, I'm looking at you guys. No penalties tonight at 5-on-5. Please, Greg, Cousins, and Perron.
Yeah, definitely. That's what you want. But luckily, Ross, this could be an opportunity for the Ottawa Senators penalty kill to bounce back, as the Philadelphia Flyers are tied for second last in the league in power play goals for, only 3 on the year so far. And then in power play percentage, they're 25th in the league at 15.8%. So this is an opportunity for them to shut the door.
It has to be the opportunity to shut the door, because if you can't tonight, and then you're going into Washington on Saturday, that's going to be a really tough matchup. You got to get those kinks ironed out defensively and get this team back on the winning track. They haven't won a home game in regulation so far this season. Just a shootout win against Seattle. They've lost 2 games in regulation, and of course are coming off that OT loss to the Edmonton Oilers. Well, what about those Philadelphia Flyers? They've had a tough schedule in terms of the teams that they've played so far this season, but they've also had a lot of home cooking. So what can we expect from the Flyers? We'll have that conversation next. And then Leevi Merilainen, well, he's back, but will he play anytime soon? That's next. You're listening to a game day edition of Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real. Getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. I hate that. It's so frustrating when all you want to do is cheer on your team. So That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives the fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and
Hey,
stress-free.
Pillsy, what are you thinking? World Series, game 1 over at Game Time. Tickets ain't cheap for the World Series, but you're going to get the best prices at Game Time. Standing room only. General admission, we're looking at $700 USD.
Yeah, I mean, those are going to be expensive tickets. But if you want to go to the Ottawa Senators game today, Ross, you can
Little
get in
less?
a little less for as low as $14
Woo!
USD. So never mind the World Series. Get to the Ottawa Senators Canadian Tire Center. Their
Get
zone
$20
deals.
off.
Yeah, and their zone deals are a game changer. You pick the section, and Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You can find NHL tickets for under $25. Like I said, $14 gets you into the CTC. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, guys, that's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go.
All right, Philsy, the Ottawa Senators hoping to get that elusive first home regulation win tonight. And if they don't, they'll have to wait until at least next week. The week ends for the Sens in Washington. And then it's a back-to-back. They play Monday against the Boston Bruins at home, and then in Chicago on Tuesday. A bit later on, I'll ask you if Leevi Merilainen should play one of those games, and if so, which I think you'll say yes to, which one should he get? But before that, let's take a look at the Ottawa Senators points leaders so far this regular season. Shane Pinto alone in first place. He's got 8 points, and 7 of those are goals. Dylan Cousins is in second with 6 points. Then it's a two-way tie between Tim Stützle and Jake Sanderson. And you've got Drake Batherson, Claude Giroux, our two locked-on players for tonight, tied with Thomas Chabot and Jordan Spence at 4. It's a four-way tie in with 3 points, but seeing Jordan Spence's name there just makes me shake my head.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're a team that's struggling right now, and you're healthy scratching your newest acquired, one of your newest acquired players that was supposed to be a part of this everyday lineup, and he's getting healthy scratched.
Yeah, he certainly is. My thought would be Travis Green thinking we're getting rinsed defensively. It's not an offensive issue right now, so let's get the big compete right shot defenseman in Matt and Powell. I thought Matt and Powell played perfectly fine in the game. We've discussed another dreamer scenario. Pillsy putting on my hat, wanting Nick Jensen to properly recover before he's ready to jump back in to the lineup. But that's not how it's going to be. We already said no changes for the Ottawa Senators. Well, how do the Flyers look tonight? Sean Couturier centering Travis Konecny and Owen Tippett. You've got Noah Cates between Tyson Forster and Bobby Brink. The third line, Christian Dvorak between Trevor Zegras and Matvei Michkov. And the fourth line is Jet Luchenko with Nikita Grabenkin and Garnet Hathaway. On the back end, Cam York with Travis Sanheim, Nick Seeler with Jamie Drysdale, and Igor Zamula with Noah Juleson. No word yet whether it's Dan Vladar or Samuel Ersson that starts in goal. Huge discrepancy. Vladar with a .929 save percentage versus Ersson's .849. The Flyers are coming off 2 straight victories. They beat Seattle 5-2, and they beat the Minnesota Wild 2-1 in overtime. This is their third road game of the season. They are 0-1-1 with a regulation loss in Florida and an overtime loss in Carolina.
My lookout player for the Philadelphia Flyers is a guy I love, number 71 Tyson Forster, a guy we thought highly of when we profiled him back in his draft year.
Pillsy, who would you take right now? Tyson Forster or Ridley Gregg?
Oh,
keep in mind, Forster did go first. It wasn't like Ottawa had the option, but he was a guy that's the pick that we were eyeing if he was available, and he wasn't. So
Yeah, I mean it's close. I'll stick with Ridley Gregg. I like Gregg's game, and he's a versatile guy that can play center or the wing. So I'll stick with Gregg. But Foerster was a great pick there as well, and he's got 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points in 6 games. Leads the Flyers in plus minus with +5, and he's had at least 1 point in every single game except one this season. He's coming off a goal last game in that win, so he's a guy that you got to watch out for him or look out for him because he's shifty out there and he's on their second power play unit as well.
Yeah, he's a problem. Big body, right shot, shoots it, rips it, and he's been doing it last year. 25 goals, had 20 goals the year before. Those are his 2 first full NHL seasons, and he's over 20 goal scorer in both of them. So definitely a valid lookout player to watch. I'm going to go with the wily vet. It makes me feel old saying that because I remember watching him with the Ottawa 67s, and it's Travis Konecny, a guy who just re-upped for big money. He's just got the 1 goal so far this season, but he's averaging a half point per game, and he brings so much to the table when it comes to physicality. He had a goal and a fight in the game against the Seattle Kraken where, it went okay for him. He was instigated into it. Ryan Lindgren got the instigator in that one as well, 2, 5, and a 10, but I look at the way Konecny plays, and maybe that's actually a good example of it where he can get under your skin to the point where you snap. And I just love the way he plays the game. I feel like he's had a lot of success against Ottawa, and we don't need to remind everyone that he should have and could have been an Ottawa Senator. Sens decided to go with Colin White instead.
Who would you prefer, Ross? Same question for you.
Oh, I'll take Travis Konecny.
Okay, nice. Great pick.
Yeah, 17 points in 22 career games against the Ottawa Senators. Konecny is coming off a 24-goal, 76-point season last year with Philadelphia. It was his career high. Previously was the year before at 68. Previously was the year before at 61. So he set a career high in each of the last 3 seasons. So I will be looking out for the Flyers. Talking about the Flyers as a team, though, like pretty mid. Is that what the kids say? In just about every stat in terms of goals for, goals against, power play, penalty kill. But one thing that did stand out was they averaged the fewest shots on goal per game. Is that good or bad? Because sometimes I feel like Linus plays his best when he's getting a few shots, especially early.
Yeah, that's actually a fair point, Ross. But it just goes to the fact that Rick Tocchet has this team playing a tight defensive game. Like he's not really letting these guys run loose offensively, and the goaltending has been good. They've been able to keep games close, not allow a lot of goals, and their 5-on-5 play is very good as well. So like, I don't think there's going to be a lot of off the rush chances or things like that. I think you're going to have to work hard in the O-zone and create chances through really nice passing plays and cycling the puck, which is something the Ottawa Senators have not done a great job of, in my opinion. So yeah, I think this is going to be a low scoring game.
I mean, that probably benefits Philly if it's a low scoring game. No?
Yeah. Well, that's how they've wanted to play this year, and it's been successful for them.
Yeah, it has been. So Ottawa's going to have to get to their own game. Cliche, I know, but it's true. You have to, from the drop the puck, first shift, run them through the end wall, second shift, try to get a goal. There we go. Easy. It's an easy game. It's so easy from where we're sitting. We know it's obviously a little bit different when you're actually lacing them up and getting out there and taking contact. And Philly's a team that's playing for pride right now too, right? They saw the way that their organization's been handled over the last, well, even like 3-4 years. It kind of started with Claude Giroux, but they've gone young. They've gone the rebuild direction, and nobody had them making the playoffs this year. It's obviously a long way to go before having that conversation, and it's not like they're the Detroit Red Wings, for example, who started the year exceeding expectations entirely, but they have overperformed so far, and hopefully Ottawa can be a team that knocks them back down. I'm actually banking on this fact that this is their 1 game out of 10 that they're playing on the road. I think that can kind of be one that you overlook a little bit. Hey, let's take advantage of our home games right now. We've got a lot early in the season. We're going to pay for that later on, kind of the opposite of what's happened to Ottawa the last couple of years. And I think if you jump on them early, they might go into their shell a little bit. And that's, at least if you're a Sens fan, what you have to hope the game plan is tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're the Flyers, you're looking at the Sens being like, this is a team that's down on their luck right now. So maybe you're not taking them as seriously as you should. And hopefully the Sens can make them pay for that, because they haven't been able to make many teams pay for that so far.
No, they have not. And think about how different the conversation would be if they were able to hold on against the New York Islanders. They'd be 2-0-1 in their last 3. It would be like, hey, there's still room for improvement, but once you lose the Islanders there in regulation, it just changes the whole feeling around the team. I guess that's what early season overreactions are for, and how they've only played 7 games and it's felt like the sky is falling. I'm actually shocked. And here's a question for you. Travis Green taking a lot of heat for the Jordan Spence decision. But is it enough, that with the PK? Do you think that it's justifiable that there are some fans out there that are starting to doubt that Travis Green's the man for the job?
Yeah, I'm not jumping on that trend just yet. I mean, Travis Green did an excellent job with this team last season. I think that's fair to say. Brought them back to the playoffs, really cleaned up the defensive structure of this team, which was much needed for years. So I'm not going that far yet, but the penalty kill being terrible and having multiple optional skates is a bad look, in my opinion. Scratching a guy that you acquired who is a point per game player and is tied for the lead in assists and plus minus is a bad look, in my opinion. So if these choices don't start paying off and he continues to work this way, I'll be less inclined to support him. I'll say that. I don't think you should be looking at firing coach in year 2 early in the season after he just brought your team to the playoffs. But yeah, they're questionable decisions. It's fair.
They are, and they're worthy of ridicule. Is that the right word?
Speculation.
Or at least questioning the decision to take Jordan Spence out of the lineup. Like when Martian is advocating for a undersized puck moving defenseman to be in the lineup, that's where you know you've lost the plot. It's been tough how he's been handled. He was a healthy scratch, comes in, he's a healthy scratch again. What the heck? What's next?
I don't like it.
Stay tuned. Locked On Senators. We'll keep you updated as things move on at Sens Central on Twitter. Pilsy, Leevi Merilainen is back. He was down in Belleville for 2 games, a tough first one and a very good second one. Belleville very good as a whole in last night's game, getting a victory over the rival Laval Rocket. The final score ended 6-2 in Belleville's favor, and Merilainen made 26 saves on 28 shots. It's still an .897 save percentage through 2 games. The first game, though, it's one of those where nobody's stats look good. He had 40 shots against, allowed 5 goals there. So he finishes the 2-game stint with a 1-1 record, 350 goals against, .897 save percentage. They said they just wanted to get him some games. They're true to their word. Merilainen's back up. They're taking advantage of this extended period where Mads doesn't need waivers since he already cleared. Your thoughts? Would you have left him down a little bit longer and gotten a couple more games? Or do you think the timing here is looking ahead to that Senators NHL back-to-back Monday, Tuesday?
I think it's important, Ross, that he is coming off a good game. Like, let's say that game up against Laval didn't go well. I think then you're like, oof, I don't know if now's the time to bring him up. But also it's important to note, I'm looking at Belleville's schedule here. They don't play again till Saturday and Sunday. So it's not like he was going to get a game.
You could have played him Saturday and then Tuesday in Chicago.
Yeah, that's actually a fair point. But maybe they're going Ross off. Okay, he got a good game. Let's get him up now, rather, because then what happens if he had a good game, you leave him in against the Toronto Marlies and he has another stinker and his confidence is back down, right? So I think that's the play. And like you said, they're taking advantage of this period where they can send Mads down without having to worry about waivers. I never really thought Mads was going to get an NHL start. I think he's also a guy that you'd like to have play in Belleville, get some confidence before you give him a try in the NHL, especially with how tough it's been for NHL goalies in Ottawa. So it'll be interesting here. I think you're targeting Leevi to play in one of the back-to-back games. I could see the spin zone argument for either one. I like to have the backup play the first of the back-to-back games to give your starter that extra day rest. But I also like having the backup play the game on the road where you have that travel, but they're traveling from Washington to Ottawa and then Ottawa to Chicago. So like all of my little little ways of making decisions, they don't really line up or make sense. So all I want to see is not Allmark playing in both of those back-to-backs.
So you don't care which one Merilainen plays?
Like I said, I could spin zone it either way.
But gut decision. If you're the man who's making it, which one does he play? Does it depend on Saturday?
No, I don't think so. Unless things go terribly and someone gets pulled, no matter who starts. But the Boston game is more important. Yep. So I'd rather have Linus play that one, I guess.
And Linus had that unreal save last year against Boston. They both beat Boston. Merilainen needed 2 goals late in the third period to come back, but he was unreal in the shootout against Pasternak there. And Allmark's had some good games against his former team as well, beating him twice last year, once in Boston where Brady scored the overtime winner in that one. Pilsy, speaking of Belleville, you got some final thoughts on how the B-Sens played last night?
Yes, I do. It's always nice to beat any team in the Montreal franchise. So getting a win up against Laval is great to see. The Belleville Senators' first win of the season. Took them a little while, but they got there. And if we're talking about leading the league, Stephen Halliday leads the AHL in assists, tied with 2 players with 6. So the disher, he's down there dishing.
He's down there dishing up a storm, dude. No goals, 6 assists. Let's go.
Hey, he's just a good teammate helping out. And that line of Halliday, Kaliev, and Bourgault, they're going to be fun to watch. They connected on a really nice play for one of those goals last night.
How's the Bourgault jacket feeling?
Good. Yeah, like he's got a couple goals for the Belleville Senators. 2 goals last night. Yep, and their Belleville tweeted out more like Bourgault instead of Bourgault. Like that's a good one. So
I'm in on that.
He leads Belleville with 3 goals. So I'm feeling good about that take ahead.
And Tyler Boucher took 25 games to get 3 points last year?
Yeah.
He's already there. Let's go.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously like the record would be better, but we're seeing signs of positivity down there.
Yeah, we are. And we're gonna need that to continue, because it needs to be a good atmosphere for our guy, Carter Yakimchuk.
Yes.
2 apples for Yak last night. Starting to settle in. Was able to catch parts of the game where he looked pretty solid. And they're going to need him. They're going to need him to be a top line. He's playing on the top pair. And it was nice seeing him with the old +2 next to him, because we know plus minus isn't nothing. But if you're deep in the dashes early in your AHL career, you might not start feeling so good. He's had 2 -3 games already. He was -6 before last night, but we're working our way back to even there. And we're going to see Yak play some of his better hockey, I think, as things move on. Wait, they took an assist away from him. They took an assist away from our guy.
Darn.
That's brutal. Belleville tweeted out that he had 2 assists, and now it's just 1 on AHL.com. So he'll just have to make up for it next game. This is a big weekend, though. Him seeing what the Marlies are like for the first time and going on the road. I'm interested to follow along with Belleville here for the next little while. We'd expect Mad Sogard to get one of the starts there this weekend, and likely Hunter Shepard with the other back-to-back games here for Belleville. Pilsy, tonight's game, overall feeling, final thoughts. What's your gut telling you about how tonight's game is going to go?
So I'll just keep with my facts. So I'm sticking true to myself. I'm going to say low scoring game. I'm going to go 3-1 Ottawa Senators regulation win, getting that puck line. Claude Giroux assist to Shane Pinto to lead off the scoring, and Drake Batherson gets an empty net goal. So I don't know where that other goal is going to come from, but my crystal ball, that's how I'm seeing things go. So the second goal, that's up for grabs. Anyone can have it, but that's how the goals 1 and 3 are going to happen.
Okay, and there's your fan fiction of the day as we end off every game day. A memory between these 2 teams, and it's an easy one between Ottawa and Philly. Still, to this day,
nice,
the most penalty minutes in a single game in National Hockey League history. It's also the only time that both teams in a game have over 200 penalty minutes. The Senators had 206 and Philly had 213. Those goons had 213 penalty minutes, which is also the single most penalty minutes by a team in NHL history. That game took place in March of 2004. Will we see another
No, I don't want to see that, Ross.
That was outrageous, man.
Yeah.
When Robert Esch and Patrick Lalime are dropping the gloves, and Patrick Sharp is fighting Jason Spezza off a face-off.
Yeah.
You know things have lost the plot.
That was wild. Yeah, I don't want to see Linus Allmark in a fight. I am 1,000% sure of.
And especially if it's Vladar. He's a big boy down in the crease there for Philly. It's going to be a fun night tonight. It's a Senators game day. We'll see you in the postcast afterwards. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. Thank you for liking, watching, listening, and subscribing to the show. Everywhere you get your podcast, those 5-star reviews go a long way to helping the show grow. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.